Comic book people of the world, let's talk about Alpha Flight Volume 1, issue number 106. This came out way back in 1992. It was written by Scott Lobdell and it was illustrated by Dan Panosian. Out of all the comic books that came out back in the 90s, why would I want to talk about this one issue in particular? Well, this is the issue that not only has Northstar coming out as being a gay character, but it also speaks of the AIDS crisis from the 80s and 90s. In particular, there's a daughter that is adopted by Northstar that unfortunately, even though she's a newborn, she was also born with the HIV virus. This is a very powerful issue, and for the 90s, this was almost unheard of. Prior to Northstar and Marvel Comics, there have been a couple other characters that were alluded to being gay, but most people generally acknowledge that he is the first character to come out from Marvel. To give you a little bit of an idea of who Northstar is, he's a mutant and also a twin, and his mutant abilities give him super speed and the ability to fly. When he touches hands with his sister, they can also create like a concussive light force, and he's part of the Canadian superhero team known as Alpha Flight. Up to this point, his sexuality had never really been a focus point, and it hadn't been discussed, but there was a lot of speculation before this. In this issue, we're introduced to the character known as Major Maple Leaf, and he's being retconned in as a superhero who helped Captain America with the invaders during World War II. And he continued on to be a superhero until the 1960s when his son was born, and then he announced his identity to the public and he retired. Fast forward to present day, and Alpha Flight is fighting the supervillain Mr. Hyde. When being knocked into an alley by Mr. Hyde, Northstar comes across a baby that was left in a garbage can. Using his super speed to rush the baby to a hospital, we find out that the baby is infected with HIV, and unfortunately, she only has a very short time to live. Northstar adopts the baby, and the entire team tries to raise awareness about HIV. We find out that Major Maple Leaf is very upset about a past occurrence, and he attacks the hospital. It's revealed that Major Maple Leaf's son, Michael, was a gay man, and unfortunately, he contracted the HIV virus, which developed into full-blown AIDS, and he died from complications from this. He's upset that his son received no press coverage, no acknowledgement, no nothing, while Northstar's baby is getting all of this other press coverage going on. In the end, Northstar does subdue Maple Leaf, and makes it clear that the world does need to start talking about AIDS. And yes, Northstar himself comes out, hoping this will help others. If you read this issue, I'm going to point out it is a tearjerker. It is so incredibly sad, I teared up myself reading it. But the message itself is quite important. It took some time after this comic book before other writers started to discuss Northstar's sexuality. In fact, we really didn't even get to see him in relationships until many years later. But this did come out in 1992, and you can only hope for so much to come out at that point. I do hope that Northstar's character is going to be used more often in the X-Men comics. He's a great character, and I feel like he's sorely underused. The artist Dan Panosian, he is a great artist, however, it is 90s art, meaning that everything is very exaggerated and people's muscles are just like kind of going all over the place. Comic books already exaggerate certain characteristics of people, but this one kind of goes a bit more extreme, so you gotta keep an open mind when you read it. I personally enjoyed this issue. Like I said, it is quite powerful, but it also helped pave the way for other storylines to be told by other characters. If you're interested in reading this issue, it's not difficult to find in the slightest bit. It's available on eBay and Amazon, where it's a very cheap price, or if you want a digital copy, it's available on Comixology. This copy was given to me by my buddy Michael. Michael, thank you so much for giving me this. I do appreciate it. Let me end this comic book review at this point. Thank you guys for watching me. Check out my Patreon site when you get a chance. Check out my social media sites. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button if you like this video. Also put on the notification bell so you know of future comic book reviews coming out. And I'll join you guys in another video very soon. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.
I'm in love with a hero.
I love the Ultimate Universe's version of Northstar. He was in a relationship with that universe's Colossus. I know some people didn't really like them together, but I thought they were great together.